Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Lime Rock Park from wherever you are around the world. This is the Radical Cup North America. I'm joined with Craig Robinson from the track, and race 1 of 3 this weekend for Radical Cup. Of course, race 16 of a huge championship, and it's all coming down to the wire for the Platinum class. We'll take you through some of the points and some of that in a moment. But as you can see, people just getting in position. The cars getting in position too in the false grid. And we'll take you through the grid in just a moment. So, from the back row of the grid, Dale Dillon, we're actually anticipating he will start from the pit lane. Dale Dillon with some turbo issues in that machine. Dermot Ennis relegated to the back of the pack for an infringement in qualifying. From the 9th row of the grid, it will be Kenny Nail alongside Robert Burgess. Burgess, who was the pole sitter in Pro 1340. And then from the 8th row of the grid, Jack Yang, a gold class points leader, also with an issue for him in qualifying. He'll start from 16th alongside him, Mike Anzaldi, who's vying in that class for top honours. Austin Riley a little bit further back in the pack. He'll start from row 7 alongside him, Chris Hunn from Primal Racing. From 10th on the grid, it's Reed Stewart from Group A Racing, the New York dealership. Alongside him, it's Arul Venkatesh, who'll start from the 11th position on the grid. So from row 5, it's Valen Venkatesh alongside him, Louis Schreiber. Now, Louis Schreiber, very interesting one to watch. We'll talk a little bit more about his points battle. From row 4, it's Vaughan Glace. Alongside him, Wayne Williams, who was fastest in the Platinum class. And Williams doing a stellar job in that qualifying session. Spencer Schmidt will start from row 3. Alongside him, it'll be Ryan Persing. And Persing impressive this morning. Jonathan Scarillo, very, very quick in his debut in the championship. He'll start alongside Jonas Axbo, who has stepped up to a brand new car for this weekend. And it's made a difference, the new XXR 1500. Very, very speedy indeed. Rayden Nicole, we've seen him so often on the pole in Pro 1500. It's not to be this weekend because Bobby Thompson, the Englishman, has taken the pole, and indeed it is the outright pole position as well. Such is the speed of the SR3 machines. And Craig, as we were mentioning earlier, this is going to be quite an interesting battle, this race, up the pointy end of the field between those two guys off the front row of the grid. Rayden Nicole hoping to keep his clean sweep going for the season. Bobby Thompson vying for a win. And then, of course, on the second, the big second battle to look out for is between Wayne Williams in the 57, Louis Schreiber in the 111. Schreiber with some work to do, clawing back. 20 points now is the gap between Schreiber and Williams.
Yes, and also in that last session, we were talking the first rows about tire wear. Well, back there, the session is Schreiber did 11 laps to only 4 or 5 for Williams.
That's right. And then, of course, there was a similar story with Bobby Thompson, who did a few laps compared to Nicole, who came out and tried to put in a burner on that final tour before the checkered flag flew. We're just getting a great shot there of the chicane that we've added back into the circuit. So the cars, that's really the big news of today and indeed the weekend. Originally, the idea was for the Radical Cup to use the classic circuit here at Lime Rock Park, a storied venue with so much history, the likes of Paul Newman making this place very, very famous. But because of the speed and the aero, particularly when the SR3s were following other cars, the front ends of those cars were getting light. And so USAC electing to put the chicane at the uphill back in, and that should make things a lot better. So we've got one more pace lap, And then it's time to go green here at Lime Rock Park. The USAC Ford Mustang pace car just taking the field around. So we're eager to get this one underway. It is the third race left in a championship that has seen the racers start at Sebring, then go off to Barber Motorsport Park with IndyCar. Then it was to Road America, again alongside IndyCar. We've been to Laguna Seca and Road Atlanta, and now we're up in the Northeast at Lime Rock Park. The cars starting to assemble side by side. The race director's notes very clear that they want to see a perfect formation. It's going to take some time to get everyone together. The front rows are set to go. We are going to be looking for a green flag here shortly. And the drivers will come down relatively slow. Bobby Thompson bringing them to the start zone. And it's a green flag. It's go, go, go at Lime Rock Park as they head down into turn one, and already some jostling for position. The Platinum Class cars trying to get to the front. Everyone getting through turn one cleanly. Turn two, what will be the drama there? Nothing. So again, drivers being very cautious. A little bit of dust and debris. Perhaps a small lockup, and we've got a car going sideways at the exit of turn three, and side by side now. The action as they head up to the chicane for the first time. And this is going to be close. A big lockup there, and that bollard's going to be absolutely brutal for Ryan Persing as he hit that hard. And that's going to certainly cause some damage, I would have thought, to that car.
Yes, I think it is. It's going to be a real problem to that, because he's going to have to go back through that again. And if he's still in traffic, he may not have a choice of where he goes.
The bollards are huge on the chicane. The drivers haven't seen much of them. It's Bobby Thompson who's in the early lead from Raider Nicole. Jonas Axbo doing a stellar job in third. It's Jonathan Scarillo who remains in fourth. Spencer Schmidt, fifth. Vaughn Glace in sixth. Wayne Williams leads the Platinum Class. Crucially for him, Louis Schreiber now right behind him, though, and the safety car's been stood up. It's a full course caution, and a car is in pit lane. It must be around the top, and there we go. One of the cars actually in the uphill section, in the now what is the runoff area, that was the track earlier today. And that, to me, looks like it's Jack Yang for Valor Racing, who has found himself sideways. So only a couple of clean laps before we've had our first bit of commotion. And Jack Yang sideways, nosed into the barriers beyond the chicane.
He's not getting started either, which I expected to at least see some motion out of the car. Possibly it was contact that sent him to miss the
And it looks to me like Jack Young's actually walking back to the car now, so he has exited stage right, walking back relatively casually, and just getting back to the service crews. So deciding that he didn't want to remain in the car, probably not a bad idea, given that there is a... we can just see where the tyre bundles start, and there is a safe place for a driver to go. So Yang relegated to 19th position. Dale Dillon still hasn't made the start of this race. There is another car, the 27 of Reed Stewart, possibly the one that has made contact. We say that...
there might be a little damage on the right front.
Yeah, definitely some damage to the front nose as well. I suspect a bollard has caused that. But Reed Stewart in pit lane, Jack Yang out of this motor race. The full course caution flying. And some tense moments in the opening couple of laps of the Radical Cup.
Tom, how do they determine the grid when they're for the next 2 races.
So crucially, it comes down to the lap time set in this race. And so it'll be very important for all the drivers to get back to green, get in a good lap. The lap time in this race will set the grid for the next one. And in fact, you bring us to a good point, and that is this battle between Louis Schreiber, Wayne Williams. Every point counts. Of course, if you get the fastest lap point in this race, you obviously also get a point for the pole in the subsequent race. So it's going to be critical for those two drivers. If we look at the lap times at the moment, it is Louis Schreiber who's been fastest by 4/10 so far in that class with a 1:03 flat compared to Wayne Williams' 1:03.4. So important for Louis Schreiber to maintain the fastest lap of the race. Of course, he also needs to win against Wayne Williams. Now, if something happens to Wayne in one of the other races, perhaps the points gap is not so crucial in terms of taking the win over a second place Wayne Williams. But at the moment, with the way these points are structured and how it's playing out, it's very important for Wayne Williams to take the win as well as that fastest lap, which would set him up for the pole in race 2 tomorrow morning.
And if he's been able to do that 4/10 of a second, he can make up the gap in about 2 laps. The gap won't be there anymore with the restart.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, really, Schreiber in the box seat now. This restart has bunched up the field. We can hear the Platinum Class cars just coming through. A bit of a different grumble from the Ford EcoBoost engine in those machines. And Wayne Williams still in Chip Romer's car, so a teammate's car. Louis Schreiber in his typical car. So your eyes aren't funny if you're watching on the live stream. It's not Chip Romer behind the wheel. It is Wayne Williams. He was forced to borrow the teammate's car after a bit of a bingle in one of the practice sessions. In fact, he found the outside wall at the exit of the final turn, which was not perhaps as nasty of a lick as it could have been, but nevertheless, the team, because of the tight turnarounds today, lots of sessions, electing to just pull out the spare car. Spec racing, not a problem. All the cars built to the same standard. In fact, that's what's so great about Radical Cup racing. So what was a 40-minute race is quickly turning into a 30-minute race. Jack Yang's car just being extracted. So that car, obviously, with a few more issues than what we originally thought.
Yes. I'd say they can't move it. That they're going to have to get the rollback is the only thing I can think of. Oh, no, they got it.
They got it, so hopefully that can get into a relatively safe place relatively quickly. Little bit of debris also on the circuit. You can see there, I think that's going to be the front splitter of the 27 machine. Now, luckily for Reed Stewart, he was, of course, came in under the full course caution. We've just been told that Dale Dillon, the issues for him have prevented him from taking the start of the race, and we won't actually take part in this one at all, unfortunately, for the Graham Rahal performance driver. Some gremlins just plaguing him this weekend, unfortunately, again, with the quick succession of sessions. No opportunity for him to get out on track. But the safety cars is touring. I suspect it might do one more lap. We might get lucky. 32 minutes remain on the clock, so plenty of time for plenty of action. We can see actually the field is just catching the emergency vehicles on track. So I would say we'll go green, not this time by, but the next one. And will that be an opportunity for Raiden Nicol to eclipse Bobby Thompson? Nicol is chasing his 16th win of the championship. A clean sweep so far. That's a pretty impressive record.
He made a move at Big Bend, but backed off when he realized he didn't have enough racing room and actually backed off more than a car length. And that allowed Thompson to gradually pull it out a little more, but he won't have that advantage now. So it should be interesting because
I
Nickel
think
doesn't have anybody beside him limiting where he can go relative to Thompson.
right. This should be a relatively straightforward restart. They should have a little bit more space, as you say. We'll be very interested to see how Jonas Axpo goes as well. Got 3 nationalities represented in the top 3 drivers at the moment. Jonathan Scarillo flying the US flag as well as Raider Nicole, Spencer Schmidt. Good weekend for Spencer, of course, the son of Sam Schmidt, storied racer and then team owner, and was the S in SP McLaren. So comes from the right pedigree and has certainly been doing some solid business. So just getting a better look, some more damage to the front of the 21 Jack Yang machine. Definitely some front splitter damage. I'd say left front suspension damage as well. So the cars, the steam inside the helmets are starting to rise. No doubt a little bit of red mist too. The safety car will be coming in. Drivers line astern, all eager to get on the gas, and Bobby Thompson goes. There's a little bit of a checkup, though, as they come down the hill, and there's a bit of dust flying. I fear that a caution might cause another caution, but it's Bobby Thompson who goes into the lead, and it looks to me like the big news out of all of that, Wayne Williams has had an issue. It's Wayne Williams. This has huge championship implications. Wayne Williams is stuck on the side of the racetrack. 2 other cars involved as well. And as so often does, the full course caution is going to breed immediately another full course caution. This is disaster for Wayne Williams. Louis Schreiber has somehow come through all of that unscathed. We could see as the cars were coming back down to take the start, a concertina starting to form. It was all sort of started at the top. Bobby Thompson was waiting a long time. He had his right to do that. No problems there. But you could just see this effect going back through the pack, and all of a sudden, disaster. So Wayne Williams actually has made it through unscathed. I've got excited because I think what I've actually seen is Ryan Persing's car, and that looks very much like Wayne Williams' typical car. Wayne Williams still sitting in 5th place. We're just trying to get a visual on him too. But it is okay for the Canadian come Texas driver. So Wayne Williams is there in the Stella Artois car and sits now 2 cars ahead of Louis Schreiber. But this has been a big hit for the cars involved coming down the hill. And you can see some debris around those cars. So emergency crews on the scene, and apologies to Wayne Williams fans out there. I got a bit excited just seeing the Dayglow colours on the car of Ryan Persing. He is the one that's involved in that incident. Wayne Williams sits 5th, so for him, still a part of the championship in terms of platinum, still in the lead of the points. In fact, Wayne Williams hasn't taken a win all year, would you believe? And whilst we've had Raider Nicole on one side of the coin, win after win after win, Wayne Williams has been approaching this championship in a very different way, which is just being Mr. Consistency, and he's survived whatever chaos ensued just then. So yeah, the 57 does sit there. The new colours of Wayne Williams' car catching the commentator out. And again, apologies to the fans for Wayne Williams. I'm sure there's quite a few people in Texas watching along.
Nolan Venkatesh went off after the downhill, but I think he may have had contact before that. His left front fender is very loose.
Yeah, Venkatesh's car definitely with some issues. You can see the whole front nose actually pulled up. The drivers were getting ready to go, but again, that concertina. So that happened right in the middle. In fact, I'm sure that the platinum class cars were sort of in the thick of that, because Vaughan Glace has come back behind Wayne Williams. Jonathan Scarillo's dropped right down as well. So it was around about that mix point between the two classes. But a lot of work now to do, and
the other one coming in.
The curse of the full course caution, it's just so frustrating that cautions often breed more cautions. The 88, Dermot Ennis with a huge amount of damage on the front of that car, the race tape coming out. But Venkatesh's car, I don't even know where the front nose of that car is. Just can't quite see in the shadow, but certainly some drama there. So we were hoping to get this one back underway. We were wondering what the likes of Louis Schreiber would do. Wayne Williams still sitting in pretty. Bobby Thompson converting that pole position. Now, I wonder whether that will be crucial, because again, this is going to take a long time to clean up. The frustration, no doubt, growing for some of these drivers. Of course, they want to put on a good show for the fans out here this weekend. And the emergency crews, though, all on the scene, doing a solid job from Lime Rock.
And they're all wondering, too, they're trying to keep some heat in those tires so that when that first lap happens, when the green drops, they're not going in with cold tires.
And an amazing scene here with the track actually completely blocked by the emergency vehicles at the moment, with the cars around the back section of the circuit.
There's the medical just coming in.
So the safety car actually having to grind to a halt, because and this is quite an amazing scene. I don't think I've ever necessarily seen this, where the cars are out on circuit behind the safety car. They have stopped on circuit because at the moment the track is blocked by the emergency vehicles. The clock continues to remain counting down. A little bit surprised perhaps that we haven't seen a red flag, but obviously race control electing just to let the clock wind down. I've almost keep blinking at the screen, wondering whether we've got a freeze frame, because again, I've never seen that the cars have just had to come stationary on the circuit. Possibly the best way to get this going.
Because they're going counter race.
So
there's got to be some problem. There's got to be some problem with moving the car that's giving. They just sent the rollaway away.
Yeah, so the medical vehicle just coming back on the scene at the moment. Obviously, the first thing that is crucial is to make sure all the pilots are okay. And so Persing's car gets extracted from the scene. There is, interestingly enough, there doesn't look like much, or if any, issues with the Armco through there. So it was obviously car-on-car contact. Now the emergency crews can get out the way. No doubt the safety car will be let through in a moment. And the rollback coming back into pit lane. The hook coming back in with Persing's car. Couple more emergency crews just stationary at the exit of turn one.
It should be about it should be about 20 minutes, I think, when we restart. If it had gone any longer, it was going to make that first lap dash after the green really important. And I think we might have bred some more yellow.
So with that momentary literal pause on the racetrack, the safety car is circulating again. Drivers trying to get heat in their tyres. No issues, it looks to me, for Wayne Williams in terms of damage. I'm looking to see where Louis Schreiber is.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
a couple of cars back.
Really bad in the front.
But a significant amount of damage on the front of Ryan Persing's car. The crash box is all intact, though. So whilst it was a big enough hit, obviously, to stop the car, not getting into the crash structure, I dare say that is a very good sign. And good to see that the structure of the car all intact. So no issues there. Another rollback coming into the pit lane. Now this is a...
looks like some debris for when Venkatesh went off. He must have lost some body work. They're picking debris up.
So that's Chris Hunn's car coming back as well through pit lane, I believe. Yeah. The Primal Racing machine also missing a nose. Again, looks like the crash box is A-OK. But yeah, lots of bodywork certainly getting dispersed around that part of the racetrack, and actually Ryan Persing's nose just being offloaded by one of the emergency crews down near the end of pit lane. Right, so 19 minutes remain. Still plenty of laps that we can get into this race. And it would have been quite a shock for the drivers to see that chaos unfold. Obviously now the key is to put all of that out of the mind, refocus on the job at hand. I'm sure a number of drivers would have been radioing to their teams just to make sure their fellow comrades were A-OK. But it is a case now of ensuring that you're refocused, understanding that the tyres have lost a lot of temperature, and getting back to business. Of course, the one thing that's going to be important is to think about the fact that you need to put in a fast lap. It will set the grid, and a lot of these drivers that are out early are going to be starting really out of place now for race 2 tomorrow morning.
The other thing is that Braden Nichols had twice now to watch how Bobby Thompson starts. Will he try to gamble on what Thompson's going to do this time?
Yeah, interesting you should say that, because we saw that was sort of that late start, perhaps, that started to cause that ripple through the field. And as you mentioned, Braden Nichols will be trying to pick up on that, trying to see if he could get a glimmer of when Bobby Thompson might go and see if he can just ever so slightly get a jump on him. Bobby Thompson, a very storied racer in his own right, and knows how to restart a motor race. The one that I'm really impressed by, and I'm really excited to see, well, up for a podium position at the moment, is Jonas Axbo, the rookie driver for Cameron Racing, Radical Northwest. They've made the trek out here, a big trip from California to Lime Rock, and Axbo with a brand new car this weekend. Said it immediately impressed him during testing. Was excited to get here and use the new car to full effect, and it's so far done him proud in the 2 practice sessions. The first practice session not using that chicane that we see on screen, but then again after USAC observing cars following each other and getting light in the front end, electing to put in the chicane, and we're back green finally at Lime Rock Park. And look at this. Ray Nicole has a good run down into turn one. Further back, it looks to me like Wayne Williams is getting into the mix of the Pro 1500 cars. What will Louis Schreiber do? And now Jonas Expo almost capitalizes on a wide running Rayden Nicole. Williams getting held up effectively behind Spencer Schmidt. You can see how much Williams wants to use the power of the SR10, but he's got to back out of it. He's got to be smart. Fawn Glace sits behind him. That's a race in its own right. Fawn Glace, fifth in class with Jonathan Scarillo, 6. They sit 6th and 7th on the racetrack. Louis Schreiber, in this gaggle of cars, he can see his rival just ahead. But they're all going to have to be careful here and play nice. Respect was the word of the day. And Wayne Williams goes down the outside. He's going to have to be careful with the faster cornering speeds of the SR3. Williams just has to relax. He's got a championship on the line. You can see that Stella Artois car moving to the inside, trying to cover off an SR3. That was Vaughan Glace having a look. Jonathan Scarillo's been relegated further back in the pack. Started higher. We've got a car in the pit lane, and that's Kenny Nail gesturing to the crew in the Platinum class, in that Stella Artois car, not the typical car he's in, not the Dayglow colours. And Wayne Williams, though, using what was the number 5, now the 57, to full effect. Louis Schreiber, it's just not quite going his way so far this weekend. Schreiber didn't put in the lap time when he needed to during qualifying, and now finds himself with two 1500s between himself and his class leader, championship rival, Wayne Williams. Rayden Nicole starting to creep up behind Bobby Thompson as they start another one. Jonas Expo falling a little bit off the pace. We're still watching this battle for 4th and 5th on the racetrack between two different class cars, and you can see there how much Vaughan Glace closes in on Wayne Williams. Again, Williams doesn't need to get involved with anything. Now, in terms of lap times, Louis Schreiber with a 54.4, so Schreiber well off the pace. And it's Williams who's quickest. He's gone certainly purple in his class. Rayden Nicole fastest overall. So hopefully in a minute we can pick up a little bit of the action at the pointy end of the field. Obviously this is the pointy end in terms of the Platinum class. And there we have Bobby Thompson leading by a few car lengths over Rayden Nicole. Nicole, this is not a usual place for him to be, sitting in second. You can see how hard he's working through that chicane, trying to extract everything out of the Primal Racing machine. Just doesn't seem like he's had quite the pace. To be fair, he turned up thinking that this wasn't going to be one of his favourite racetracks.
Thompson seems to be able to pull away on the straightaway and make time through Big Ben, but then Nickel catches up as they get to that chicane.
Perhaps different gearing, just taking into account there. I know that Primal did make a gearing change at some point this morning. There's Mike Anzaldi having a run. Anzaldi sits in 10th overall and is clawing his way onto the back of Arul Venkatesh. Ahead of him, it's Louis Schreiber. There he is. So the second man in the points and in class in Platinum. And this is a great little dogfight as well. So Anzaldi in the middle of Venkatesh and Austin Riley closing in. Austin Riley. We haven't seen or talked much about him this weekend. Usually a podium place getter in Pro 1500, the young gun from Canada.
Traffic's coming into play for our leaders now.
And I'm just looking at Louis Schreiber coming down the front straightaway. Just doesn't look happy as there's smoke coming out of the back of a Venkatesh car, and there was contact there. So that was Arul Venkatesh, Mike Anzaldi putting the nose in. You could see perhaps some damage, a splitter rubbing, something, causing a bit of smoke on the back of the 13 car. And all of a sudden, Anzaldi having a look. It wasn't on, though. So Jonas Expo has certainly settled in place. We continue to watch Expo as he comes around the first couple of corners in that brand new 1500 XXR, trying to chase down Raider Nicole. And already, as you mentioned, back markers coming into play. So even though we haven't done that much green flag racing in this one, there's 9 minutes remaining and plenty of laps still on the board.
The first traffic allowed Nickel to close up a little bit last lap, but Thompson pulled back out again.
It just seems as though when Nicole just starts to get a bit of a sniff, all of a sudden Bobby Thompson finds a little bit more. The purple is next to his name again. He's got the fastest lap of the race once again. And Nicole, as you mentioned, just trying to find more. Thompson so quick into the chicane. You could see Nicole picture perfect up against the bollards, but not over them. Jonas Expo sits third in class. Wayne Williams has Louis Schreiber behind him. So what has happened to Wayne Williams? We'll try and get a bit of a look. The lights are flashing too. The 211 flashing the lights. He starts to approach Robert Burgess, so he's worked his way through the field. Burgess is his next victim in terms of coming up to back markers. Burgess leading Pro 1340. So whilst it is on the timing, Wayne Williams with Louis Schreiber just behind, I can assure you there's about half a racetrack between those two men.
Nickel couldn't get by Burgess before the chicane, and he's lost ground.
And that's going to be critical. Of course, it could easily swing the other way. Bobby Thompson stretching his legs now. A strong lead for him. The gap's been extended dramatically, 1.7 seconds. And Burgess playing a little bit of a role. But of course, whoever they get up to next, which will be that Arul Venkatesh Austin Riley fight for 10th outright, it could all change again. So we were hoping to go on board with Raider Nicole at some point. Not sure if we'll get that opportunity or not. You can see that Robert Burgess gets past again. So Burgess doing well to keep out of the traffic. The lights ablaze on the 93 machine. Raider Nicole doesn't want to let this one slip. There's 6.5 minutes remain. Nicole has won 15 out of 15 races. This would break the streak. This would break the target that he had going into the championship, trying to take every race win from 18 starts. It may not be. Bobby Thompson has certainly set a strong benchmark so far this weekend. Jonas Expo, also impressive. Not to mention Jonathan Scarillo, although he sits down in 6th overall at the moment. Louis Schreiber still circulating in the 54s. So Schreiber like a second off the pace. And Wayne Williams just doing what he needs to do. It's not over, but it's certainly looking more and more like a Wayne Williams championship. Louis Schreiber with a huge gap, about 15 seconds or so. Bobby Thompson doing a solid job for Valor Racing. So we're picking up some action, some more back markers getting past. They come down the hill. There was the site of that bigger accident earlier on, coming through that final stretch and down the front straightaway. 2-1-1 of Bobby Thompson. Rayden Nicole. Under 3 seconds the gap, but it's out to, almost 3 seconds. Thompson putting in a clinic. And remarkably, it's Rayden Nicole who's not in the lead of this race.
Nicole couldn't get a clean run down the hill because of the other car that couldn't pass him until we were in the middle of the straightaway. It cost him even more. Just traffic falling the wrong way for him.
Yeah, and that's, of course, a big part of motor racing, multi-class racing. I possibly wasn't anticipating so much traffic so quickly. But perhaps a few battle-scarred cars out there circulating a little bit slower than normal. Rayden Nicole, now will he get his chance? Bobby Thompson approaching traffic. We can see there. There's 2 cars ahead. There's one with damage. You can see the white tape on the front of the 88 of Dermot Ennis.
Couldn't get by that time.
Can't get by. You can see now he's getting held up. Bobby Thompson, this is not what he needs. Of course, Rayden Nicole will be looking ahead and thinking, fantastic, do it again. Hold up, Bobby Thompson. Nicole needs a little bit of luck on his side. And Nicole's been so good getting through the traffic earlier this season. And Lime Rock, a little bit of a bogey.
Now there's a group of 3 ahead of him.
So Nicole clears the 88 of Ennis. Thompson still has a solid gap. And amazingly, the gap hardly shifted then. With all that traffic, that toing and froing, the concertina of Thompson getting held up into the chicane, and the gap's back out to 2.9 seconds.
Yes, it looked like Thompson was really going to lose time when he couldn't get by that car.
The Thompson has also put in the fastest lap of the race, so he will be on the provisional pole for the next one.
It'll be about 3 laps. It's just about time for him to get involved with those 3 cars. But I think Nickel is too far behind.
So Thompson again circulates in the lower section of the racetrack. You can see that there is fighting for track position up ahead. This is the problematic area for Thompson now because he catches all of these cars as they enter the chicane. Hopefully he'll get a little bit of a reprieve. Look at the acceleration as he goes to the inside and makes the most of this high-speed west bend and comes back down the hill to start another lap here at Lime Rock Park. So it's still Thompson from Nicole. Expo, a solid job from him. Spencer Schmidt, 4th. Now that's good for him and his championship points. He's vying for the runner-up honours in the Platinum Pro 1500 class. Gordon Glace impressed in every outing he's been at, whether it's been 1340s, 1500s, Corn Glace, a stellar racer from the Proper Performance stable, and he's doing a solid job. 5th in class and outright at the moment as someone goes through the cut through.
Thompson's been able to turn times in the race as fast as he did in qualifying.
Unbelievable, isn't it? The pace, and he's shown the consistency. Oh, and someone's in the pit lane. There's been damage. Big amount of smoke coming off. And is that Rayden Nicol?
Yes.
It is. So Rayden Nicol's perfect season has come to blows. He was trying to get through the traffic, trying to catch the leader. The car is still on, but it's stationary. The white flag flies. The 93 is in the pit lane. Nicol just absolutely miffed, no doubt, underneath that helmet. He has had a stellar run. He's done nothing wrong all season. Had a bit of an off at Road America in one of the practice sessions, but apart from that, the pocketbook has not been blotted one bit until now. Certainly not in a race, and Rayden Nicol in the pit lane.
They're looking at front tire.
So the checker flag is out. Bobby Thompson has taken the win. Jonas Axpo will finish second on the podium. We're waiting for him, but it's Wayne Williams who'll take the win in the platinum class. We're still waiting for him to circulate. Louis Schreiber has taken that checkered flag. Axpo is indeed second in Pro 1500. Spencer Smith third. Corn Glace and Jonathan Scarillo round out the top 5. Wayne Williams, here he comes in the Stella Artois number 5-7 car, and he takes the win in the platinum class. Mike Anzaldi, a stellar job for him, keeping Austin Riley at bay. I think both those drivers getting past the 13 of Arul Venkatesh. Rayden Nicol will tumble down the order. So the points disappearing from Nicol.
It's like 12th.
But he will have a strong lap. His fastest was a 52 flat, and a 51.8 was the best time of Bobby Thompson. So I would fully expect, my eyes don't deceive me, that we'll see Rayden Nicol back on the front row of the grid for the next one. And that has been an eventful, perhaps a bit too eventful, of a race 16, race 1 here at Lime Rock Park for the Radical Cup North America Series. We will go and celebrate some fantastic performances, and we will eagerly await 2 more races, the penultimate race tomorrow morning and then the grand finale of the season tomorrow afternoon, all here at Lime Rock Park.
There's certainly been enough drama in this race between not just the leaders, but looking at that race between Williams and Schreiber. And surprisingly, Burgess actually is almost at midfield now, starting further back. So he may actually be starting further up the grid than usual.
Points to collect, trophies as well. It will come down to the wire in the platinum class. We'll head down to the podium. We'll wrap up the live stream from Lime Rock Park. We'll see you tomorrow morning for more action from the Radical Cup North America program.